These are my top 25 NASCAR Cup Series paint schemes of 2025. And this year, I'm keeping a close eye out for the 3 C's. Colorful, I tend to prefer big, bold, bright colored schemes. Clean, oftentimes simple is better. I appreciate details when they stick to a theme, but sometimes it's best to just keep it clean and green. And finally, clever. I like a design that sticks to a theme or tries something radically different, or maybe calls back to a nostalgic design from our childhood. Colorful, clean, clever, that's usually what I'm looking for. All right, there were so many great NASCAR Cup Series paint schemes this year. I couldn't find room for every single one of them, but these are my top 25 favorite. Follow along at home, see if any of your favorites made my list. We'll start at number 25. I probably could have filled this list with a half a dozen or more Busch Light scheme variants, but I had to narrow it down to a couple of my favorites. This one's great. I love the jagged looking strokes on the door, the sunset colorway on the hood. Definitely one of the more unique Busch Light designs, definitely one of my favorites. All right, let's move on to number 24, The Rock, Michael McDowell's Rockingham scheme. Again, sometimes simple is the way to go, especially when you have a sick, timeless logo like The Rock with those Busch Light reminiscent mountain peaks. I love the matte black finish. This is how you do a monochromatic scheme, and the red 71 on the door and on the roof pops in a good way. Underrated paint scheme, in my opinion. I've got it at 24. Once again, when you have a timeless, iconic logo, in this case, the Red Bull design, it's best to let that do most of the heavy lifting. Some may have this scheme a lot higher up. It was cool to see Red Bull back in NASCAR as a primary scheme. But because the scheme is essentially just the Red Bull logo, I don't think I can put this higher than 23. I do love an oversized door logo, executed very well in this case. Yeah, I've got SVG or Connor Zilic. You could interchange them. I've got the Red Bull scheme at 23. Maybe I'm on an island here, but I thought Chase Briscoe's Bass Pro Shops design looked phenomenal. The gray camo pattern is the perfect backdrop because it literally blends into its surroundings, blends into the racetrack, and allows for that bright orange, the bright yellow to pop. Easy to pick this car out of the pack, and for as long as Bass Pro Shops has been in the sport, how many paint schemes, how many primaries we've seen over decades, I'm impressed they're continuing to find new designs, new ways to impress me. This one looks really good. I've got it at 22. All right, this one, it breaks my second C rule. It's not the cleanest. It's a little busy, let's say. But my third C was clever. And I thought this was a very fitting tribute to Daniel Suarez, the lone Mexican-born driver in the NASCAR Cup Series, his final race with Trackhouse. Love how colorful it is. Not only was this fitting for Daniel Suarez's final ride, also fitting because this race was November 2nd, right in the middle of Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. Colorful, yes, very creative. I've got this Daniel Suarez scheme at 21. Let's just keep rolling with Trackhouse. Their design team cooked this year once again. Very colorful Wendy's Frosty scheme. This was on Chastain and Daniel Suarez's car this year. I don't think it was on the 88. They had other variant Wendy's schemes. Again, it's a little busy, but the redhead logo on the hood is unmistakable, and the red and blue stripes are also recognizable. When this car was on the track, it looked like a sweet, speedy blur. So when you're promoting Wendy's Frosties, I feel like that's mission accomplished. All right, top 20. Let's get up to number 19. I am going to mix in a few schemes that you've probably seen on my list in years past. They still hold up, like Kyle Busch's Lucas Oil Chevy Camaro. They've run this car on and off for 3 years now, and it's that shade of blue is just so pleasing to the eye. Love the color, love how clean it looks. Contrast this with some of RCR's other paint schemes. They've got so many little logos and decals everywhere, totally messy. This one, by contrast, stands out whenever Kyle Busch drives it. I just wish he'd drive it more. Can we up Lucas Oil's marketing budget, por favor? Another one of my favorites, Ryan Blaney's Advanced Auto Parts scheme. Again, I love the matte black. I'm a big black and yellow guy. That yellow trim with the little red accent separating separating it. I love the reflective chrome red 12 door numbers. That black, yellow, and red, that ketchup and mustard combo, so clean, so good. And with those angled, flared front Ford Mustang fenders, when this car is coming at you, it looks mean. I get Batmobile vibes from this one. This has been one of my favorites the past couple years. I've got it at 18 this season. Okay, hear me out. I got some heat last year when I included Joey Logano's base Shell Pennzoil scheme in my year-end favorite list. But let me put it this way. We live in an era where so many of the top drivers have a dozen different primaries throughout the year. Top drivers are switching up paint schemes every other week. There's something to be said for the consistency of the yellow and red Shell Pennzoil Joey Logano schemes year in, year out, week in, week out. In 40 years, when we're all old and gray, we will look back at this era and be able to identify this driver sponsor paint scheme combo as one of the most iconic of this current era. There's something to be said for that. And this scheme is clean, it's colorful. They changed it up a bit this year. I think the red going over the front fenders looks really cool, highlights that accent nicely. In my honest opinion, this is a sharp looking paint scheme. I don't care what the naysayers say. Not gonna lie, this was one of my favorite Napa Auto Parts Chase Elliott paint schemes ever. I like that it's just blue, clean, nice bright color, the yellow logo on the hood, the yellow 9 pops. Not everyone will like the thin yellow lines and details on the door on the front, but I do. And when you slap a yellow playoff windshield banner and spoiler on this thing, I think it brings out those colors even more. I thought this was an extremely clean paint scheme that Chase Elliott ran this year. I actually also liked the inverted white base with blue logos. I actually thought that was really clean as well. That would be that's an honorable mention, I'd say. Another year of Castrol bringing some heat. Those Christmas colors getting me in the holiday mood. I love the red 60, the red chrome door number. One thing RFK did really well this year is they moved the sponsor name lower on the hood, closer to the nose of the car. When the car's coming at the camera, it makes that logo more legible, easier to read, and I think this one meshes with the scheme really nicely. I love the clever detail RFK works into almost all of their paint scheme with those 3 kind of stripes or pillars there coming off the door, off the side skirt. I like that, even though there are different colors, different companies on the car every week, RFK has maintained that consistent design element year after year after year. This is a great car. Love the colors. Ooh, the Diamond Edition Jordan brand Toyota. The Jordan brand cars, I feel, are always meant to sort of replicate the sneakers themselves. So the texture, if you will, the pattern is always extremely unique. This one really jumped out to me this year, and I thought the red Jumpman logos, the red outline on the door number, I think made those stand out. I wasn't sure at first how I felt about the kind of the black on the nose there until I realized, well, hey, that kind of feels like the toe of the shoe. Again, they're really committed to that sneaker aesthetic. Can you tell I'm out of my element here? I just like the way this looks, and I like the theming. Good enough for 14th on the list. We're moving on up quick. Similar to Briscoe's Bass Pro scheme, the Day Glow Orange on Justin Allgaier's Daytona entry looked so good. They look good in the daytime. I remember seeing it under the lights, looked fantastic. I don't have much else to say. I love the kind of brown amber texture, the painted, the wrapped side skirts. It goes up onto the roof. I just think the colors all work so well. You put a beige, kind of a flat oaky wood color as the primary. You need those bright splashes to pop, and the orange, the amber, they do. Also fitting, because when I think JRM, I think of kind of an orange logo. So cool that their first Daytona 500, their Cup Series debut, they could debut some of their classic colors. I thought this was a really, really good paint scheme. Shame we only saw it on track once. All right, now we're getting into the top 12. Another old favorite, an old friend, the Sunny D scheme. Always one of my favorites. It's bright and colorful. It's clean, that bright orange, little bubbly texture there. The different blue accents. The way they angle in on the nose just makes this car look fast. Still one of my favorite paint schemes. I got to show it some love. Every year it's on track. The Sunny D scheme this year comes in at 12. There's not enough space for it in my office, but we do have a small garage where I still keep my giant Sunny D bumper panel from like 4 or 5 years ago. I still have it. I still look at it every single day. Y'all knew I had to find a spot for the DeWalt black and yellow on this list somewhere. If you're new to the channel, the reason my Out of the Groove logo is black and yellow is because I grew up a big fan of Matt Kenseth and his DeWalt schemes. I still think his 2005 design is my favorite all time. I haven't loved all of the DeWalt schemes in recent years. They've just been so busy promoting specific products. But this year, for most of the DeWalt races, they went back to basics. What was the second C? Keep it clean. I love the bright color. This year's primary DeWalt scheme looked extremely clean. This is just personal preference. In my opinion, black and yellow on a race car look sharp, look mean, look angry, well executed. It's on my list. But now we have made it to the top 10. Dentes all around. Dentes on me. Not really, not actually. I really like this paint scheme, though. The bright red chili pepper, of course, is an iconic logo, but there's something about the blue, like, racing stripe going down the whole center of the car with the slight red trim, red outline, if you will, that's just, there's something about that that's classic. Like, in a weird way, I almost get, this is going to sound crazy, bear with me, I almost get, like, Herbie the Love Bug vibes from the stripe and the colors. I really like this car. I really like this paint scheme. I figured it would sneak into my top 10. There you go. Carson Hocevar is like, what, 22 years old? He's probably never seen Herbie the Love Bug. Somebody get this guy Herbie fully loaded on DVD or VHS or whatever year that came out. Someone make sure Carson Hocevar understands the reference I just made. I like this paint scheme. Got it at number 10. Ooh, at number 9, sneaking into my top 10, fitting the Stealth Bomber Air Force design on Bubba Wallace's number 23. Some of the Air Force cars over the years have been awesome, have been iconic. This one, low-key, is one of my favorites. I really love how the gray comes to a point there, right there on the nose. I think that looks fast, aerodynamic, looks like an airplane. And the black and gray, some folks may say that's uninteresting, that's a little dry, that's bland, doesn't stand out, but it fits the theme. What was my third C again? Clever? Got the Stealth Bomber on the door. This car's supposed to look a little sneaky. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks great. It's on theme, on brand. Top 10 paint scheme for the U.S. Air Force this season. This was one of my favorite paint schemes last year, still one of my favorites today. The Mobil 1 logo is iconic. The red Pegasus on the door, beautiful. The door looks super good, super clean. This had to be a top 10 paint scheme once again. There we go. I knew there was another Busch Light scheme on this list somewhere. The Texas edition Busch Light design that ran in Austin back in the springtime. What can I say? I grew up in Texas, still live in Texas. Us Texans are very proud of our state. Have y'all seen the clips of Walmarts in Texas, how they're just decked out wall to wall in Texas brand? That's honestly not far from the truth. That is what many Walmarts in my great state look like. So yeah, I'm a sucker for a cool, clean Texas branding. And that final C, clever, Ross Chastain saw that he had, Longhorn horns on the front of his car and used them turn one, lap one to clean Chase Elliott out. So he stuck to the theme. That was clever. Anyway, Ross Chastain, Texas at 7. At 6, give me the 7-Eleven scheme Kyle Busch drove this past spring. I think this car looks awesome. I just love how the red and orange stripes frame everything so well. If you notice, the rear quarter panel of this car is pretty barren. There's a lot of, you could argue, wasted space, but because of how those stripes frame the door, it doesn't feel like wasted space. That feels like an important part of the design that actually ties this car together. Colors look great. Design was intentional, well put together, iconic brand, given an opportunity to shine on a big stage. Great, great looking paint scheme. I know some fans really love the Slurpee alternate that he ran later in the year, and it was a decent scheme, but it didn't come close to touching the OG he ran earlier in the year, in my opinion. Top 5. Y'all already know I'm still huffing the fumes from my Cinnamon Toast Crunch candle that I've had for like 3 years now. Yes, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch car, awesome. I love the shade of purple. I love the chrome reflective purple door number. That's fun. Eat My Cinnadust written on the rear TV panel. They clearly had a ton of fun with this car, ton of fun with all the merch offerings afterwards. This was a very clever, well-executed campaign. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is an iconic brand. RFK Racing and their team did them justice with this design. Had to put it in my top 5 somewhere. Oh, but McDonald's, you've done it again. Tyler Reddick's McDonald's scheme especially jumped out to me this year. Again, color, I love the bright colors here. Unmistakable. Clean, not too busy. Red hood, golden arches, everyone recognizes from miles away, and clever. I love the like sesame seed bun pattern on the door there. And I've said this about McDonald's schemes in the past. I grew up with the McDonald's play place, you know, all the characters, the Hamburglar, Ronald McDonald bouncing around. I grew up in a big, bright, happy version of McDonald's, not the McCafe era that's swept across the nation in the past decade. Like Bubba Wallace had a McDonald's scheme too this year that looked pretty good, but it had like dark, like black, flat colors on the back. I want my McDonald's cars to be bright red and yellow, the golden arches. This delivered. Top 5 for Reddick. Oh, and speaking of bright colored cars, a late addition to this list, sneaking in here on the final race at Phoenix, the Tide Ride makes a 2025 appearance and left quite the impression. Unmistakable from miles away, iconic colors. Love the huge oversized logo on the door, on the hood even, wrapped side skirts. This car looks sharp. This car looks clean. No pun intended. I get it. It's laundry detergent. Ha 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 ha. Great looking paint scheme. A great addition late in the year. We are down to our top 2, folks. Oh, my favorite scheme last year was that like 90s inspired Columbia car that like had these same colors kind of, but inverted. Like it was the teal bluish green on the hood. This time around for Darlington in the spring, they put purple on the hood. I love purple race cars. The blue, the pink. Oh, this car is infused with 90s flashback festivities here. This was throwback weekend, I believe. They didn't run a throwback scheme. Gotta knock them for that. But they still delivered a throwback colorway. Tickled my nostalgia bone. The splatter paint details also really, really good. Gosh, this is a clean car. I know Columbia likes to mix it up, but if they want to bring this one back a few times a year, I would not complain. But finally, at number 1, I don't put throwback paint schemes on this list because I think that would be unfair. I'm not opposed to a good homage, however. William Byron, the flame scheme, specifically the flame scheme he started the season with at Daytona. I'm sorry, that's number 1. I wasn't even a Jeff Gordon fan growing up, but seeing the dark, deep blue base with the bright red and yellow, the gradient on those flames, oh, that hit me somewhere. Brought me right back to the mid-2000s when I myself was first getting hardcore into the sport. Reminds me of Looney Tunes back in action. Just a fun design. Cool to see it reimagined for the next-gen car, reimagined here in the modern day. And I do like kind of the texture of his Daytona scheme because they brought a similar version to Phoenix for the finale, but like a lot of the yellow was gone. It was just flat red flames. Didn't hit the same way, but his Daytona scheme did. Was cool to see this bright fireball emerge from the smoke in that last lap crash. That's my number 1. It's colorful, no doubt. Pretty clean, if you ask me. And I thought it was clever. A clever tribute to one of the iconic schemes of 15, 20 years ago. There's my list. There are my top 25 favorite paint schemes of the 2025 season. Let me know in the comments which ones you agree with, which ones you disagree. Were any of your favorites not on my list? Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you again soon. Have a great rest of your day, folks.